Guys, listen. I'm a bit slow, but that's okay. Just a lot of troubles, and I was exposed to mosquitoes. I'm not going to say who is responsible. I'm not saying any names, but I was exposed to mosquitoes, and I had to get some bitter cola right now to chew. So forgive me if my energy is down, but it's definitely going to come back. Um, I'm here with our prof, Nofia. I don't want to butcher anybody's name, so I will shorten it to be Nofia. You've seen the first episodes, the before videos, and I'm excited for the fact that we have an opportunity to actually continue what we started today. This is actually the first time I'm actually coming on camera with a script. I have a few deep stuff that we have to read, so we're going to start with King Leopold's letter. But before we start, no, I'm not going to do that because I know that in the course of the conversation, what we saw yesterday is going to come up. So I'm not going to go into anything else. But, Openi, teacher, welcome.
Thank you, my brother. And I believe you are doing great.
Yeah, just a little malaria, but I'm better.
Oh, wow.
I'm better. Once I have my bitter cola, I'm better.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll be okay.
Definitely. So today, what do you have for us? I have in my hands the sheet, and we're going straight into King Leopold. Why King Leopold?
Well, thank you very much. And once again, let me use the opportunity to say hi to your viewers globally and those who are at home. Once again, my name is Maufomo Kobla Nonyibe, or Nufialaga Maufomo Kobla Nonyibe. Nufialaga means the senior lecturer or teacher. Yes, today...
I think I can say the Nufialaga.
Yes.
I just have to remember the laga. Nufialaga. Okay.
Nufialaga.
Nufialaga.
Yes. So today I would like us to touch, though we have various topics that we'll be talking about or we'll be teaching, I would like us to look at King Leopold's letter to the colonial Christian missionaries to Africa. Perhaps we are not going to read everything on that letter, but I'm going to make some connections so that our people, both at home and in the diaspora, will know that we already know or we already knew who the Creator was. We have a well-organized system before they came. And that is why I would like to start with the King Leopold's letter. Though I know our energy level, I can say is a little bit low because of yesterday, the errors and the rounds. But I believe as we move on, definitely we're going to pick up. Yeah. As you can see me, I've already started activating my own. So, we'll start by reading, I think, the first and second paragraph of King Leopold's letter. Then we will do the connection. Then we take it up from there. So I would like you, my brother, to start it with that for us.
So I'm going to read King Leopold's letter. And you remember a couple of, I think 2 years ago, I did a piece on this. So if you're in the community, you should have the letter already. But my brother is going to break it down for us. It reads, but wait, before I even read it, are we sure this is the original letter? This is not made up by anybody trying to frame these Caucasians? Or you sure this is actually King Leopold's letter?
Well, from where I got this document from, I have no doubt about it.
Because a lot of letters come up and then before you realize it's tampered with, it's not actually the full truth.
Well, this letter, I can say is authentic. The reason why I can say it's authentic, if you read the story about how to make slaves, talking about the James River, there is a little connection with this letter to making a Negro or a slave. That letter, maybe as time in our next episode,
There's another letter.
There's another letter that was purposely designed to make slaves in the Caribbeans. You understand? And there is a connection to this letter. And that is why I want us to start with this letter, so that as time goes on, we can do the connection.
Okay, let me read, guys. It says, Reverend, Fathers, dear compatriots, the task that is given to fulfill is very delicate and requires much tact. Your goal certainly to evangelize, but your evangelization must inspire above all Belgium's interest.
So, this manual, they call it letter, this manual that was given to the colonial Christian missionaries, because in order for them to have obedient slaves, the colonial Christian missionaries have to go and prepare the minds of our people. We all know there are two types of slavery, or two types how to make slaves. There are two types. When you use force against people, definitely they will wake up. But when you work on with their mind,
The programming,
as you say, it takes thousands and even millions of years to get out of it. So what was sent was a manual that will help these colonial Christian missionaries to convert and to change our people from our way of life into the programming or to the program system.
Because what I'm seeing here is above all Belgium's interest.
Yes, above
But
all.
these were supposed to be missionaries that were supposed to be preaching Christ.
Yes. When let's move to the next.
So it says your
Yes.
principal objective in our mission in the Congo is never to teach the niggas to know God. This they know already.
So, they knew we know who the Creator is. This document shows that the Europeans did not teach us or did not come here to civilize us, to teach us who the Creator is. They know who we were before they came.
So according to this, our fathers already had a relationship with the Creator.
With the Creator and the energies before they came.
This they know already.
This they know already. They know we know. So let's proceed as we
They
expose.
speak and submit to Mungu and to Nzambi and to Nzankumba. And what else I don't know. So what else, what other energy or what other God or whatever other presence, they don't know.
They don't know. But they were able to identify only few.
Do you have an idea who Mungu, Nzambi, and Nzankumba?
The little research I've done shows that is how our brothers in the Congo side,
The Bantus.
the Bantus, they describe the Creator.
The names that
they have there for the Creator. Yes, that is how I understand it per the little research. So let's move.
I know Tatanzambi representing the Creator. Okay. So they know that to kill, to sleep with someone else's wife, to lie, and to insult is bad.
So they know that we know all that were packaged as the 10 Commandments. They know we know all of that. Thou shalt not sleep with someone's wife. And we know it. They know we know it. And it is stated in here. So they didn't bring us morality.
So I'm thinking it should be a way that our fathers knew, not as a principle or a law or a guidelines, this is just the
A way
way
of life.
of their life.
That
We're
is
not
it.
stealing.
No. You can drop whatever you have, and you can go and come back and see it at where it is. Stealing, robbery, because there is already a mechanism in place. If I say mechanism, they know the energies around them. If you steal, there is a repercussion. So they don't do those things. And I believe before this letter or before this manual was prepared, they might send spies already to study us.
No, there's something I tell people all the time, like, these people spent hundreds of years, at least 500 years studying us, studying our ways and showing that they understood
everything.
There's a line here that messes with me a bit.
Yes.
You say that to lie and to insult is bad. In our generation, most people like conversations or pick up conversations, and they like to use the F word all the time. F this and F this and F this. And we've picked up before, and I'm going to be a bit foul, it was heavy in my mouth to even say the word penis. Till date, I actually cannot say it in our local dialect.
Exactly.
Because every time the word came to mind, it made me feel like I was being disrespectful and I was being not cultured. So naturally within me, I knew that these are some of the things that we are not supposed to say. Without anybody trying to tell me anything, nobody teaching me anything. So what you literally saying is that they knew coming onto our shores that we knew these things.
Already. But this manual was to distract or to destroy what we already know, to reprogram us.
And what made us know these things is because of the existence of the energies.
Exactly. These things are ways of life for us. You see, when our ancestors, there's this book, our people, let's say the European Egyptologists, pick from the Asian Kama, which they call it the 42 laws of Maat. Yes. You see, what they don't understand about that, these are codes of life. And these are when you are about to be initiated into any energy. For instance, if you've stolen or you've taken something before, if you've committed a murder before, first of all, you have to confess everything that you've done. Before then, the prayer of forgiveness will be done for you. Then after that, then now you get the necessary messages, the do's and don'ts that is governing these energies. So they will tell you, hey, if you are in this, you don't have to sleep with anyone's wife, because immediately you go against it, the energy will strike you. There is a repercussion on it. So you can see here, before the Europeans come, and even till date, there are certain places that when you sleep with someone's wife, sometimes they get stuck in it.
Yeah.
And there is a reaction, body reaction about the man. Sometimes your manhood will still remain stiff as it is. So these are energies that our people know that no, when you are initiated into this thing or you are a member, you don't do certain things. Killing was not part of our way of life.
So these are literally the ways of the gods or the energies that they taught humanity.
Exactly. That is all. And there's nothing new. So whatever was repackaged for us in the name of the Bible, I can confidently tell you that about 70 to 80% was taken from here.
And it says, have courage to admit it. It was telling the
Them,
missionaries,
yes.
then be
courageous.
At least be man enough to admit the fact that, you know what?
We were advanced than them. That is it.
Guys, listen. Listen.
That is it.
Have courage to admit that when it comes to the ways of life, what life is all about, these people you are going into, these people we call niggers, already know.
We were civilized to the marrow of our bones.
To admit.
Yes, they know.
This is breeding into a lot of things. It simply means that they know who we have always been.
Always. They've known always. And as we move with this conversation, we're going to bring some of those things out.
Be courageous. Listen, don't let anybody tell you you are not. I don't care who it is. I don't care what system you find yourself in. We're reading it. Our brother, no Fialaga.
You got it right.
No? Yeah, I was trying to pick up the name. He told us from Kenyopo's letter. I just read it. Be bold enough to admit, be courageous to admit that these people know these things that you so-called are come to teach them through the Bible.
Already.
There are a lot of people who make this argument that there was a God of our fathers, our ancestry, called Maat. Is that even true? Because you mentioned it, because you brought it up. In our system, was there any God called Maat?
To be honest with you, and with over 25 years of my research into these things, the truth is, the European Egyptologists, when they got to Kama, aka Egypt,
which they call Kemet,
which they call it Kemet.
What's the meaning of Kama again?
Kama is a sandy place. Sandy place. Ka means sun. M means in the sun. Right?
The reason why our fathers call it Kema
because it's a desert.
It was a desert place.
Exactly.
Hence why I was saying the other day, we went to Keta,
yes,
which is also a sandy place.
Yes.
And when we saw the life of the people there,
yes,
it was just as the people living in the desert.
Because they were able to grow food. They have a special irrigation system that enables them to grow food in the sandy area.
So, Ma'at,
yes,
in your 25 years of studies.
So, what the European Egyptologists did was, when they got to Kama, aka Kemet, in the translations of some of this, you see, in doing so, they made a lot of mistakes. They changed a lot of names. And when they got to Kemet, because one, it's not their history, it's not their culture. So they are trying their best, thinking that they have translated their best. But when you go deep into it, for instance, what they call the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Who gave it that name? It was the European Egyptologists.
There's no way our fathers or ancestors would name like that. There's no way there would be a god called Maat in our ancestry, in our history.
There is nothing like that.
In the
language. And as time goes on, as I said, we shall break who they were trying to refer to as Maat.
So I just want to chip this in because, yes, I mean, it's so intense that some of our brothers and sisters even call themselves Ma'at, saying they are naming themselves after the god Ma'at from Egypt, which they should actually contact those on the land to give them the names of the people who moved away. So if you want to name yourself after any god, you should at least contact people who are still with the god.
I agree with you totally, and that is a big mistake that our brothers in the diaspora do. Now, what I would advise them, or I will put across, is that those people who once lived there were not Arabs.
Definitely. I mean, we all know the text.
Yes,
were
and they
influenced
are
by
taking
Italians
and they are taking these names that the Europeans have repackaged for us as their own names. They should understand that the people who once lived there look like me and you.
There's actually a library in Qatar, and it says clearly that this whole place was occupied by black people.
That is the truth. As I said the other time, if you look at where our ancestors migrated from, all the way to the current location. So when they get after Kama, they move deep into this side. So as they move with everything. Though they left certain writings and drawings, even when we travel just yesterday, you can see some drawings on the walls.
I wanted to come to it yesterday.
It is the same strategy that
have courage to admit it. You are not going to teach them what they know already.
Yes.
Your essential role is to facilitate the tasks of administrators and industrials, which means you would go to interpret the gospel in the way it will be the best to protect your interests in that part of the world.
So, gospel was written there. They should interpret it in their way, or in their part of that that will favor their interest. So they should tell our brothers and sisters that what is known as
who pioneered all the missionary system, all the school system, all the Christology system,
the seminaries,
interpreted the gospels to suit their interest.
Exactly. And
had nothing to do.
It has nothing with the Creator. It is their interest. That is why sometimes when people take what is now known as the New Testament, you can say they say what? Gospel according to Matthew. Gospel according to Luke. Paul's letter to the Corinthians. Paul's letters to the Romans. These are letters. These are people's, let me say, idea or understanding of issues that they've captured. It has nothing to do with any inspiration from the Creator. So if you read the book of Matthew very well, you can realize that it was absolutely a letter report before a fabricated holy lies was attached to it, just to sell the interests of the Europeans. And that is why they gave you the image of a so-called Messiah being white, because their interest is to make us, or to make themselves superior over us. So that is all it is all about.
Their interest was not in anything of saving anybody for anybody, because our people were already saved, already spiritual, already powerful, already in tune, already energized by the energies.
And he was advising his own compatriot to admit that. So at this point, yes, they should have the courage to admit.
To facilitate the tasks of administrators, industrials, which means you would go interpret the gospel in a way it will be the best to protect your interest in that part of the world. For these things, you have to keep watch on this interesting our savages from the richness that is plenty in their undergrounds, to avoid that they get interested in it and make you murderers. Competition and dream one day to overthrow you. So the whole system was coming for our resources.
Perfect. And they have to make the whole thing look like there is some kind of a superhuman upstairs watching everything that we are doing. And they end up creating what we call today as heaven. they created hell for us on this earth. These are places that they never existed. If you understand spirituality, you understand that we as black people, we as a people are spiritual people. When one dies, the spirit moves to a spiritual level, a spiritual world. At a certain time, your spirit is sent again. If you've not completed what you sent on this earth to do, you are sent back. And this is what they term as a reincarnation. And we're going to use their own scriptures, that is the Bible, to prove that, yes, John the Baptist was actually Elijah that reincarnated.
Yeah, according to the Bible.
According to the Bible. But we can prove beyond even their scriptures or the Bible to prove that, yes, this is who we are. So eventually, as part of the programming, they have to package a whole system for us to accept. And truly, they succeeded because we have been indoctrinated to believe that if you are poor, it's easy to inherit the kingdom of heaven.
So the programming is that to cause us to take our minds off our resources and to allow them focus on our resources and come steal our resources to go build their nation while our people are waiting for some Christ which they created and interpreted for our people to send them to some imaginary place that nobody has ever been or nobody has ever died and come out to say that I went there and this.
If they are saying heaven is full of gold, all kind of lifestyle they are talking about, why didn't they go there and go and mine that gold in heaven?
Exactly.
But they came here to take whatever we have and to brainwash us or to indoctrinate us that when you are poor, yet their forefathers came here, took all our resources to build their new world. You understand? So let's proceed as
Your knowledge of the gospel will allow you to find texts ordering and encouraging your followers to love poverty.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Happier are the poor because they would inherit the heaven. And it's very difficult for the rich to enter to the kingdom of God. You have to detach from them and make them disrespect everything which gives courage to affront us.
Go ahead.
I make reference to their mystic system and their war fetish, war protection, which they pretend not to want to abandon, and you must do everything in your power to make it disappear.
This is where I would like us to mop on this topic, but let's go and take one or two things.
You have to detach from them and make them disrespect everything which gives courage to affront. They made us disrespect. And you see, the key here, as I'm reading, the key is to disrespect on purpose. Because some way, somehow, because they've come to know who our energies are and the power that they contain and what they can do, as disrespecting the energies around us would cause the energies to turn their backs on us. Hence, we
becoming powerless.
Grooming poverty, thinking poverty is going to take us anywhere. And why, when you walk on our shores, we find poverty, and they come back to say we are poor people.
Yes, exactly. You've just said it. So, they did talk about our mystic system,
which they needed us to disrespect it. And our warfare protections.
Warfare protection. You see, when you read the Bible and you hear about the nation of Israel or the Israelite. I'm not referring to this modern Ashkenaz, this convert they call the Ashkenazi Jews. I'm not referring to them. We have a supreme, a warrior God. Normally, I don't like using the word God, but for the teaching, for sake of our viewers, we use the title God for the meantime. That is the God of thunder, lightning, and fire. This is a warrior God. In those days, when there is a war, it is he that strike first. Destroy our enemies before we go and do the finishing. And this war energy that they are talking about, let me mention one. One is called Koku. Perhaps you may see a video where you see our people holding sword, knives, and they were cutting themselves, yet nothing will appear. Yes, that is a right, that is a war deity or energy that our people, when they are going to war in those days, they go through that purification. When they go, no amount of weapon, be it sword, this thing, can penetrate through their body. So they know, and they knew about that. So what they intend to do, or what they did, was to discourage us, to cause us to disrespect these energies, as you rightly said. And at the end of the day, it has rendered most of our people powerless.
Wow.
Now, this did not just come.
Before you read it,
Yes.
reading that their interpretation of the Bible should be the benefit of them. So it means the gospel existed before this, obviously.
There were no gospel even to the time of Yesu Kristo.
Yeah.
There were no gospel then. Even Yesu Kristo, aka Yeshua, used the Alpha scriptures, or what they refer to as what? The Old Testament. But the question is, who created the gospel?
This is something that actually messes with me all the time. I found out that most of our people are trying so hard to justify the fact that the Bible is something that our fathers wrote down. I find it very, very, and I have a reason to this. My question is, why are we trying so hard to claim we are the true biblical people? We are the true Israelites. My point is, these are all names that the Europeans, these people, conjured and created and gave to us.
Exactly, I agree with you.
So why are we trying to be called, oh, we are the true biblical? Our fathers never called anything Bible.
To add to this, there is no one in the Bible who had a Bible.
Exactly. My point, exactly my point.
There's no one in the Bible who had a Bible then.
Abraham didn't have the Bible.
No.
Noah didn't have the Bible.
No.
Even Adam in the Bible didn't have the Bible. David didn't have a Bible.
Yes.
David didn't have everything that is written about him. I mean, we can say David had the Torah and a bit of it, but David didn't have all of that.
The truth is,
according to these stories,
the truth is, there has never been any nation on this earth called Israel until 1948.
Why do we keep claiming it's amongst our communities? And you would have Ashantis claim we are the biblical Israelite. You'd have the Gans claim we are the biblical Israelite. And these are the tactics these people use to get us messed up, to get us to turn our backs.
I agree with you on that. Yes, they use that to mess us up. But the truth, the other side is that they succeeded using that to enslave and to still, it is like we're still in that.
Over 90% of our people are still under.
In it.
this
So,
thing?
the best way to go about it is to research into our past.
To find out who we are.
To find out who we are.
What were we called as a people?
Exactly. And that is
What were
where
the names that we used as a people?
before then.
Before all these people came to our shores, they brought these names. Why are we trying? Like, there's a whole movement in the States called the Hebrew Israelites spreading through Europe, and these people are forming armies, and they call themselves, we are the true Hebrew Israelite. We are the descendants of Seth. We are the descendants of this. I'm like, how dumb can we be as a people?
The truth is, there is a global awakening. When the energies are about to rule this earth once again, there is always a global awakening. People start to identify themselves to some of these things. It's for me, it is normal, because as we proceed, as the year go by, trust me, people are going to know that we were known as the Hamus and not the Israelites. You understand? So there has never been, even in Egypt, in the so-called Egypt, that there was nothing, the name like Egypt was never. Even the Nile River was a name that was given to them, by the Europeans, or that powers be, or during this thing.
We are reading these things, and everything they're saying is exactly what they did. But this is where it gets me. Our people are spending countless hours into research, studying, in claiming that we are awake now. Okay, I agree. You wake up, but use that same time to go into the right research.
My brother, the issue with our brothers in the diaspora is quite a deep one. Trust me. They've set their minds, although all of us have been programmed. Although all of us have been programmed.
And I'll even say this. We have been programmed the worst.
Yes.
We that are here.
But our enemies, or let me say those people in the diaspora, let's say our enemies who did that to us, really set some of them and said evil and bad things about those who are in Africa to our brothers. So sometimes, even if you identify yourself as a Hebrew Israelite, you should know, and we all know, that this Bible we are holding have undergone several translations. So something should prompt us that no, if our people migrated from that part of the world, they definitely took a certain direction. So we came to West Africa, the Southern Africa. So in order to find out the truth and the energies that were used by our ancestors,
locate the people.
You have to come back to Africa and locate the people. But this is the bitter truth. Our enemies there have programmed some of them. Some of them don't even want to come back home. Some of them even see this energy as very well. I remember I used to be on a certain platform with our people, our brothers from the diaspora. And when I started teaching, I realized that some of them start leaving the page. So you understand. So this is the program we've been programmed to see this energy.
So there's this attitude, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not doing that.
Yes.
No, guys, I love. It's all love. There's this attitude that most of our brothers and sisters always claim to know better than we on the land. So when they come into any conversation, they want to throw their weight about and feel like we know, this is what we have researched. But the sad thing is, every single thing you are researching is written by these people.
So you go back to square
What
zero.
makes you think they would give you the good materials for you to go and read?
The man who enslaved you, the man who colonized you, will never give you a system or a God that will make you great.
Through our common father, Toboy Azi, and yourself, this weekend I discovered a lot about the settling of our great ancestor, Toboy Charlie, and the descendant that came with him. I mean, there's a reason why all of us came to the West. The Akan will say, Edi Kanfo, those who came first, Kani, the spirit children and all of that. Toby Charlie, amazing history. All these facts are sitting on our shores and they are perishing off. Because the elders that got these truth, plus the places you've shown me and places you've taken me to, and I know we're going to come into it, how they picked up our culture and put it in the Torah or the Tanakh, the Bible, the scriptures, and how they made it depict that it's a sacred thing inherited by these people. I don't like you use the word enemies because I don't want to even feed that energy.
Thank you.
What I'm saying is that I'm reading this, right? And like I told you, I've done this 2 years ago, but now that I'm having this conversation with you, a lot of things are coming up with it. Wait a minute, it says your action will be directed essentially to the younger ones.
Catch them young.
To the younger ones.
That is where the saying is, capture them young so that when they grow.
They knew the older ones, which they pretended not to want to abandon. They knew the older ones didn't want to abandon their spirituality.
They would.
Which means they trying to turn our fathers away from our spirituality, but our fathers said no. So they said, you know what? We can't go through these older ones. Let's go to the younger ones.
And it is still being practiced. Go to the villages, everyone. Go, excuse me to say, even to the churches. They target the younger ones.
I have a situation.
Them.
I have a young man in my house called Kwesi. Most of the people in the community know him. His grandmother is from the north and are Catholics. The priest said they had to do confirmation or whatever, what that thing they do. And they told the grandmother, if you don't allow us confirm your grandson in the church, we will publicly humiliate you and let everybody in the church know that you are a shameful grandmother.
Wow.
This happened right in front of my eyes. And they kept calling me and said, you know what, sir? We don't want Kwesi to depart from the Catholic faith. I'm like, are you crazy? You're not even saying Christian faith.
By the Catholic.
The Catholic faith targets the young.